Very good afternoon. So we're having a very good academic feast on the day 2. So it is my pride and privilege to speak about the current GOSI president, Dr. L. Prakash, a man who requires no introduction or too many slides to speak about, but I will try to do my best. So Dr. Prakash is the director and chief orthopedic surgeon of Institute of Special Orthopedics in Palakkad. Well, he is regarding his education. He has done his MBBS, his MS Orth, MCH Orth, AO fellowships, arthroplasty fellowships. Sir is the mentor and the founder president of Indian Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, past vice president of Indian Orthopedic Association, and the past secretary of Indian Orthopedic Association. He is well known for renowned surgical skills, especially in revision arthroplasty and Illusaroff surgery. And now a lot of his work is on biological methods of fracture management, newer methods of fracture fixation, which Sir teaches the IOS fellows, the Tangari Prakash trauma system, where the TPTS system, they are incorporating the philosophies of Miros. Sir is an acclaimed teacher with over 40 years of experience. He is the inventor and he has popularized the Prakash fibrillar osteotomy, which is very useful in conservative management of medial compartment OA knees. Sir, he's also popularized and invented the Prakash method of reduction of a shoulder dislocation. Inventor and designer of the Madras Lara hip and knee prosthesis. So this is the way he has made those prostheses. So the inventor of ultra light Illusaroff rings. So Sir is a polymath and a scientist, a person whose expertise spans a significant number of different subject areas. So he's an author of, he's a brilliant and a well-articulated author with over 1,000 articles and publications. Even a lot of non-orthopedic books as well. He was recognized by the IOA in 2021 for having authored the books, multiple books. He is an artist and medical illustrator. Other skills including sculpting. He is an inspiration to many surgeons worldwide. And these are few of his non-orthopedic skills. He was even on YouTube, there is a video of him performing in Doordarshan, a magic show. Thank you.
So, friends,
the type of brief they have, the books, their passion, their innovations. So I think we are fortunate to have Dr. L. Prakash rightly for the John Ebenezer's oration here. And on behalf of the GOSI, we request him to give his oration. Thank you.
Thanks. Huh? No videos. No videos, no audio. So this will be a different talk. Innovations, inventions, and craziness in orthopedics. I am honored and thank you all for being given an opportunity for delivering this presidential oration in GOSICON 2025. The logo you see is designed by my secretary who is outside there. She enters this hall. And this signifies an older man with veins in his hand with a young geriatrician or geriatric surgeon, giving him a hand of help and support and sympathy, which is the motto of GOSI, reassurance for the geriatrics. This will be less of a lecture and more like a collection of interesting stories. 1984, 41 years ago, I completed my MS in orthopedics. In those times, an MCH from Liverpool was a very coveted next step. And I said to UK for training. So besides the point that I had to work in a McDonald's for 6 months before I cleared my lab, from Gwalior, where I did my MS, to British Hospital was a huge cultural shock. During my training, we did not have a C-arm. We had to use handrails. And in England, I assisted such fascinating surgeries as DHS, THR and TKR. I was lucky to work under legends in arthroplasty and trauma. The guy you see on the top is Michael Freeman, very crazy innovator of knee joints. And within 5 years, he produced Freeman Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, Mark 4 and Mark 5 knees. So every year he would change the design of his knee. And then of course I went from there to Switzerland and I had a personal interaction with Dr. Morris Muller, in whose house I stayed for 3 days, and I was an advanced AO faculty in Bern in 1984. Long story. So these are my pictures in Oxford and that in Swiss. And that's the MCH thingy where I got some gold medal for radiology or something. And the one there is John Goodfellow with his spectacles, who has invented the Oxford knee. And one next to me is Nora Walker, who was 91 and still teaching radiology, one of the greatest radiologists in the world. And that's John Taylor, one of the premier pediatric orthopedic surgeons in the world. And then I returned to India, well equipped with the latest gadgets to fix the bones. It was a broken gadget that made me innovate for the first time. Now, while all surgeons bring container loads of televisions and sofa sets and air conditioners, I got a C-arm and a container full of implants and instruments. Among that was a complete Synthes system which I had bought from Swiss, drills, saws, everything. And my Synthes mini drill stopped functioning in 6 to 8 months of operation. That was a pneumatic drill. And then I took it to the Synthes office. I was in for a shock, a very big shock. I had purchased the drill in those times for 1.65 lakhs. And a C-arm would cost 1.4 lakhs at that time. So my drill had cost more than a C-arm. And the economics have still not changed much. Today a C-arm costs 12 lakhs and a diffuse Synthes electric drill is 12 lakhs. So they are most same price only. To add the icing on the cake, they said it will take 4 to 8 weeks for the drill to be repaired because it has to go to Singapore for service. Because they had an office in Chennai, Rob Matthews, but they didn't have a service center. The service center was in Synthes, Singapore. Repair charges will be 30 to 50,000 and we'll send you an estimate in 3 weeks. That is how much AO was controlling orthopedic business in those times. And I was being used to power drills. Imagining putting a plate with a hand drill was like a big torture. I said, how will I do surgeries for 6 to 8 weeks? I will be really toxic. Those times I was operating 8-10 cases a day. Big list. And 10 cases I would do pneumatic with a hand drill would take whole day. When will I do my OP? So I said, this is my material. Let me dismantle and see what's the problem in this. Now, at that time I was married. My wife said, oh, such a costly material and you're opening it up. It's something like today opening an Apple computer or laptop to see why it's not functioning. But if you don't have anybody to repair, the easiest way is open it up. If it goes, you buy a new one. If you're able to repair it, you will learn something invaluable. That's exactly what happened to me. A pneumatic drill is no rocket science. We just need some logical process. Air blows and veins open and the veins will rotate. It's just like a reverse windmill. So even if it is damaged when I attempt to repair it, I'll still learn a lesson. So this is the first carry-on message of this lecture. Take risks. I won't summarize everything in the end. I'll put my messages in between. The carry-on message of this talk will be shown throughout the talk and the stories. On dismantling, I found a broken xylem vein. These are veins that open up and close like aircraft flaps or like windmill turbines. And it cost me 15 rupees to fabricate a new xylem vein on a local lathe machine and not the 50,000 rupees asked by Synthes. And once I changed all the 3 veins, this drill was working better than the original Synthes drill. This made me make my own design, which actually cost me about 8,000 rupees to make compared to 1.6 lakhs of AO drill. And even today, almost all presidents of IOA, past presidents of IOA, have one such drill in their set, which they have kept it as an antique. This worked far better than the AO drill. It was locally made, repairable, and far sturdier, though a little chunky. And then I started making drills and saws and started selling them to the orthopedic surgeon who cannot afford the AO stuff. So I made the whole range made in India. Those times batteries had not made its arrival, and the nozzle you see in the bottom, that's where the compressed air would go in, and the nozzle you see outside, where the dirty air will come out. So even that last one is a cannulated drill. And in 1980s or 90s, cannulating an entire drill was a great technology. And somehow I had mastered that. That is Dr. Sancheti, who had traveled all the way to Chennai just to see who is this Prakash. What is he doing? Let me measure his instruments. So there he is from Maharaja, this is my younger brother, and he is measuring the stuff. And Sancheti thereafter became a very close friend of mine, and every time I go to Pune, I used to stay in his house. That laid the foundation to what later became India's first public limited orthopedic manufacturing company, worth 5 crores 35 years ago. Slowly, I moved from trauma to joint replacements. While in UK, I had stumbled upon an important secret while working with innovators. I have worked with Mike Roblaski, who was just Charlie's greatest disciple and taken over from Charlie in Wrightington. I worked with John Goodfellow in Oxford, whose unicompartmental knee, Oxford knee, is even now used very widely. And I had worked with Mike Freeman, whose knees were very, very popular in those times. Innovators always upgrade, modify, improve, and progress. So when something new comes up, old is discarded. And the upgrade, that was the mantra in England at that time. In the first hospital where I worked, they had upgraded from Charnley hips to some other design. They had gone to a cementless design from Switzerland, which is called an isoelastic hip, but that turned out to be total junk. Charnley lasts too long, and it's a different story for a different occasion. And some 100 hips and cups of odd size lay unused in the OT store. Similarly, when I was working with Mr. Mike Freeman, he introduced a Mark III Freeman knee. And some 150 Mark II Freeman knees lay idle and unused in the stores. I was in UK for 4 years and returned on a transfer of residence with a container full of material. Because I would go straight to a hospital manager and say, this material is lying as junk in your OT. So, instead of scrapping it after 3 years, I'll pay you double the scrap value right now, and I'm going to buy it. As I was shifting from one NHS hospital to the other NHS hospital, then I had no place to even safely keep my stuff. I had hired a storage in London, for which in those times I was paying £110 a month rental, just to keep this material. So over the year I gathered and hoarded all this stuff, not even knowing whether I'll use them ever or not. So, the material which my contemporary colleagues bought back from on a TR is called transfer of residence, which is duty-free allowance if you have stayed for more than 5 years abroad, was a Mercedes car, Sony TV, and UK modular kitchens. There are standard shops in South London for doctors going on TR who will give you exactly a 2-year-old Mercedes Benz because the car has to be used for 2 years. I'll give you a huge 36 inches Sony TV, which was like a Godrej cupboard, and all the refra, new fridge and all those things, slightly made to look older so that it looks like a used product. And he would put it in a container and pack the container and send it to the harbor. So I had to pack my own container. I did not bring back a TV or car or household goods in the container at all. My container was full of total hips, total knees, C-arm, latest computers, laser printer. Thus, I could launch myself as an arthroplasty surgeon even at the start of my career. At that time, there were only 2 arthroplasty surgeons who were considered prolific. One was K.T. Dolokia of Mumbai, and one was P.V.A. Mohandas of Chennai. And they used to charge exorbitantly, and they were elite orthopedic surgeons for the elite patient. So way back, these were the 2 arthroplasty surgeons. One on the top is the legend of orthopedics, one on the bottom is equally a legend, and one was in my city and one was in Prasham city. I found a niche market in arthroplasty surgery. I had hundreds of implants, which I guessed, oh, this is an older photograph, but you can see the back of the shelf in my older house in Chennai, the designs of implants I had collected. So even for a museum, right now I have got 400 kilograms of orthoplasty implants, which are boxed up and lying in junk. I'm not finding a right place to set them up for a museum. I wanted to donate this to IOA, but because of politics, they said IOA house in Delhi does not have space for the implant museum. We have enough place for sitting and drinking, but we do not have space for implant museum. So it's still lying with me. So one good day when somebody like Govardhan comes up as the president, I'll be very happy to donate it to IOA so they can have a museum there. But nothing lasts forever. Take home message 2. These are the retrieved instruments and implants and collection of sequence. The message here is nothing lasts forever. I had come with 250 to 300 joints with me when I returned to India. And I thought 300 joints would last me a lifetime. But as I was the most economical joint replacement surgeon in the country, I was getting patients from world over. And soon my stocks got exhausted. In 2 to 3 years, I could exhaust all my hips and knees. And now, when I went to buy the new ones, Stryker, Zimmer and Johnson had just entered the Indian market. But their implants were like so prohibitively expensive that my old patient will say, Dr. Prakash did a package deal of THR for 20,000 rupees or 25,000 rupees, whereas Mohan Dadar, these people were charging 80,000 or 1 lakh rupees. Now, after this patient sends his neighbor or father-in-law to me for 25,000 rupees, if I buy the implant for 50,000 rupees, how will I do him a surgery for 25,000 rupees? That was a very difficult thing. So far, I had quickly made my name across the country as leading orthopedic surgeon, orthoplasty surgeon, because of large stocks which I had procured very, very economically. Money was the key. But now what to do? I decided to manufacture arthroplasty implants in India. So, that started Innovation Medical Limited, India's first private limited orthopedic implant manufacturing company. We even had a tax rate with a tax demand of 4.5 crores 30 years back. So you can imagine how much successful it was. This was the company. Those are the first modular hips in India. At that time, UK did not have modular hips. USA had just introduced modular hips. And we started as bang with the top of the range stuff. I innovated. I forgot to tell you an anecdote. While I was in Switzerland and England, I used to spend a lot of time with the implant manufacturing companies. There have been times where I have slept in the night on the floor in a workshop of an implant manufacturer just to see the intricacies and details. And I would always tell them that I want to write a thesis on how implants are manufactured. And because an orthopedic surgeon from India, I was no competitor for them. But all this data I had with me, what are the various procedures and processes for making a joint. So those are the needs. This was my catalog 25 years ago. Then we launched the Madras hip system and see how comprehensive and things it has. And this also offered training. And then if they buy 10 or 20 hips, I would promise to go to their center and operate 5 cases for them. It was given as a package for those people. The very crude basic instruments, but this is a 30-year-old set. So these are the type of instruments we made. And these are the type of hips and drills. Then to popularize my stuff, I conducted workshops all over India and abroad to teach arthroplasty and sell our products. So it's a very, very ancient photograph, and you can see many top arthroplasty surgeons of today participating in the workshop. That's my photograph many, many years back with my stuff in an OT. At this time, I believed that surgical treatment of fractures produces superior results in non-operative methods. My firm faith was perfection of X-rays is directly proportional to the quality of results. I also believe that a good orthopedic surgeon is the one who operates on the largest number of cases. And it was in my head that arthroplasty is the ultimate achievement of an orthopedic surgeon. I believe that more sophisticated diagnostic tools, CT, MRI, etc., more accurate is the diagnosis. So I had just some examples. This is 1989, patient had a ankylosing spondylosis, both hips fused. 1989 itself, he had a bilateral hip surgery. using the hips made by me. If you can see the right cup, a stapler cup, the stainless steel wire has a small knot. It's called the Prakash knot. It's a radiographic marking to show the cup inclination. There's a 10-year follow-up. There's a 29-year follow-up. If you see that upper picture, right, you can see the cup has started wearing out, but the stem is like chock-a-block stuck at 29 years. That's a 31-year follow-up of the knees that I had designed. So, I was at the peak of my career as an orthoplastic surgeon, making a lot of money, built a huge bungalow with a swimming pool, had a clinic, had a guest house, had island, had a resort, when disaster struck. That was that. I got in a dark period of my life when I was imprisoned on false charges and put into the prison. So that is 43 when jailed. So I had come back when I was 37, and by 43, 5 years, I got imprisoned. A prison is a place with no facilities, but packed with people. No X-ray machine in the prison hospital, no POP bandages, no traction items, no lignocaine, no local anesthesia, no anesthetic drugs whatsoever, no sedatives or tranquilizers. Silk thread was the only suture material available, and there were no other facilities. At the time of the arrest, the prison had close to 2,000 inmates. This photograph is taken later after the prison was upgraded to a new one, and this is how the cells were, and we had a cement ledges to lie on them. The prison official doctor was seldom present, and the prison hospital was empty all the time. And treating fellow inmates became my job. During this period, I unlearned my surgical skills and relearned many new things. And this led to many innovations and inventions. These were the things I have learned in the prison by unlearning my previous experiences. The Prakash method of reducing shoulder, proximal fibular osteotomy, extension casting of the humerus, non-operative treatment of back pains, and biological methods of fracture management. It was great luck that I became great friends with Sarmiento and Arvind Divakar, who we are all three people in single soul, or three souls in single body, and we could add up on each other's ideas to the level to bring IOS to the stage. Fortunately, over the years, all the techniques and methods have been widely accepted and have also made it into textbooks. So though I did not personally publish any of them, the people who tried them were so happy with the results that they published it as a Prakash method. Because the publications of the papers I sent for publication in IGO were thrown out, saying, what junk, who will publish this? Let's start with Prakash method. This is the first one. You go to just YouTube, you don't even say Prakash method of shoulder reduction, just put Prakash method and you will get shoulder. This is a very recent video, see the date. That's 4 days back. November 25. It was 4 days back. While I was preparing the slides, Dr. James from Kerala, an elderly lady, very osteoporotic bone. She has fallen and she was neighbor of this doctor. She had come to the clinic. No analgesia, no sedation, no assistant, no traction. It is full with audio, with her expressions. You see the shoulder is going to go in. It's going in. There it goes. And there it has gone. No clicks, no clunks. Oh, she's saying, thank God. There, I've been happy. And then there she gets him up. He gets her up. Today, about 5,000 surgeons in the world, maybe even 6,000 surgeons, use this as the first method for treating. This is Tamil Nadu government was conducting visual competency skill for 3 lakh medical workers across the state. The A&M, nurses, physiotherapists, government servants, assistant surgeons. And this video was shown. But keep it in your mind, any shoulder comes, try this first, then and only then refer to an orthopedic surgeon. This story behind the discovery, very interesting. This interesting anecdote. I had to reduce the shoulder of a patient across the bars. as he was too violent to be physically approached. The patient was an epileptic, was on massive medication, and even while on medication had tried to bite the neck of another prisoner who almost died. This fellow was huge, 7 foot, must a gorilla type fellow. And then it needed 4 jail wardens to suppress him and hold him. So they finally put him in a solitary dark cell with no human contact. He was supposed to eat tons of medicine to stop him from getting epilepsy and stop him from being violent. The prison warders forgot about his epilepsy. No tablets were given to him. He lay abandoned in the dark cell. In the dark cell, they'll put 1 bottle of 1 liter water through a small window and then toss in 1 bread and 1 milk packet. He has survived on that. There's a small pot to shit there. So they say that if he stays in darkness for 3-4 days, the biggest dada will come and say sorry. Suddenly, the jail minister was supposed to come for inspection, and the jail minister secretary called the jailer at about 6 in the evening. Tomorrow 9 a.m. inspection hai bhai. Now, the jailer came to know it at about 11 p.m. The warders were sent to all cells to see all patients are okay. No ganja is there, no BD is there, nobody has weapons. And a solitary cell is where the minister will go. And there they found him lying in his shit, piss and vomit with a dislocated shoulder, with 3 loaves of bread and 4 rotting packets of milk, and his dress shit stained with flies on it in a semi-comatose position. Jailer got petrified. He didn't know what to do. Guy's tongue was hanging from his mouth. Quickly 6 or 7 warders came, bought a hose, washed him up, cleaned the place. Slowly he came a little awake and started again attacking the warders. They got scared. They locked him back. I rushed to the jailer, who rushed to me, opened my cell and said, please manage this. If this is known to the press or jail people, jail minister, my job will go. I said, okay, send me inside, I'll reduce his shoulder. He knows that if you go, he does some damage to you. That'll become double trouble for me. So, he was too scared to let a doctor in the same room as a crazy fellow. Then it was like treating a wild animal in a cage. But this guy was in pain, so I sat on this side of the prison bar. I asked him to come here. I said, come sit. He knew that I was a doctor. And I said, okay, you go to this side of the gate with the wall, leaving your shoulder to my side, and I'll try to reduce it through the bars. So there was a bar between me, prison bars, and the other side of the patient with his back against the wall. And I had to use some tricks and maneuvers, and it went in. That is when I realized that when a 7-foot muscular Mustan fellow without traction, because I can't give him traction, he's in a sitting position, his back to the wall. So I have to do it only by non-traction methods. Then I realized that traction has absolutely no role in shoulder reductions. And that is the fundamental principle of Prakash method. Latest orthopedic textbook, Morrison's textbook, they are talking about Henpin method, Snowbird method, Cunningham method, Prakash method. These are the easiest methods of shoulder reduction in the OPD. And they have clearly summarized what is the Prakash method. And this is an American textbook by an American author published in USA. Today in San Francisco, posters from my video are blown up and put in the casualty with the steps of Prakash method, with the instruction, resident to try this method and then refer the patient to the orthopedic resident. So take home message number 2, necessity is the mother of invention. So unless you are desperate, things don't come up. Then came proximal fibular osteotomy. Here I must say that it is not invented by me. When I stumbled on this procedure, I was under the impression that I am an inventor. So much so that I put it on social media as Prakash fibular osteotomy. Later I came to know that 7 years before that, Chinese people had already done it. And there were 2 or 3 publications there. So we changed the name to proximal fibular osteotomy. This is a common occurrence in prison. The warders are taught to hit below the knee, never hit the head, never hit the belly, because they can injure the vital organs. So if you hit below the leg, you will cause harm to the patient, at the same time you won't kill him. And when you swing and hit, it invariably hits the lateral part of fibula and causes a fracture over 6 centimeters below fibula. Just imagine the rod coming and hitting here. Even woman in the women's prison riot, the Delhi riot. The prisoners who broke their fibular shaft due to prison violence were suddenly cured of their medial compartment over here of the knee. Now, this is gentleman who can see his one knee is with a fractured fibula, other knee with intact fibula has got an MCOA, broken fibula does not have middle compartment arthritis. Reverse also happens when there is an exostosis, the middle compartment shortens up. Even this one is a 14-year-old boy, severe middle compartment arthritis, because lateral side is lengthened. So I realized that lateral column has a great value in middle compartment. Shorten the lateral column, medium compartment should be all right. So this is my sister's classmate. She is now about 65, and she is now going for a knee replacement. And no, she's about 68. So that's the knee. She was advised knee replacement in 4 places, in UK in 3 places. We did an osteotomy. There she is, same day, bending and walking. That's her 9 years down the line, still standing and operating. Now 10th, 11th year, she has some problem. This is my first patient, my auntie, and that is her 14-year follow-up. She would not hear of knee replacement. You can see a patient, we had done one PFO on one side and TKR on one side, and the patient's message says, frankly speaking, doctor, I forgot which side you did what. The stitches marked in front remind me of knee replacement. Wish you had done a PFO for that side also. Very small. This person himself is a doctor. Very short video. I'll run through this will tell you what the process is, or I think I'll run through you can see how he's walking before. And X-ray is how a PFO is done. You measure, cut, never use hormones, cut above and below, remove a small part of fibula, and put 3 sutures. That's all. You may put a what do you call wait now no, 1 minute. I want to just show you. This is post-op, and that's him standing post-op. Within 2 hours of surgery, when the spinal wore off, and he took the flight the same afternoon. And he had arrived in the hospital at 6 a.m. He had surgery at 7:30 a.m. 2 p.m. he drove back to Coimbatore, and one night he was in Pune because he had a heavy clinic on the next day. He's carrying his walker up the stairs. So that is the effect of PFO. So take home message number 4. Even adversity can give you opportunities if you search hard enough. So when the patient breaks a fibula, you get an opportunity. Next comes extension casting. Very interesting story. Time for another interesting story. Humerus fracture splintered in extension with bamboo splints. I had always been taught that an elbow immobilized in flexion. What happened was there was a patient in the prison. That fellow had a humerus fracture, and there was a bone setter in the prison. That bone setter took some sticks and bamboos and immobilized his full hand in extension. I saw him and I said, what is this nonsense? You are going to ruin your hand. So I said, remove this immediately. And let us put a U-cast infection. I still have plaster bandages in my room. So I'll put a U-cast. This patient had an absolute trust on his bone setter and refused. I told him, we'll have a stiff elbow and won't be able to eat food. He did not care. Next day, I asked him to bring the bone setter to me. He was a Pandit-like thing. He said 2 things happened. Bone setter became an ardent follower. He wanted to learn orthopaedics from me. And we became mutual admirers as his patient with humerus fracture had solid union and full elbow movements in less than 4 weeks, which I had never seen in my life. Thus began my experimentation in prison, as no ethical permissions were needed, just a pack of BDs. So I immobilized about 30 normal people with their arm in extension with the promise of 1 BD a week as long as they keep it. Some people kept it 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, up to 6 weeks they kept in extension. The moment you remove the plaster, 2 days, elbow used to come to full. So I learned once more, that extension does not cause stiffness of the elbow. Intra-articular fractures cause stiffness. In cast, normal elbows in extension up to 7 weeks all regained full movement on the 4th day of cast removal. This led to the next lesson. Humerus cast and extension unites fast, and there is no elbow stiffness. This made a rule: keep two ends of the humerus in the same room, and they will unite unless an orthopedic surgeon enters the room. There are two types of surgeons who operate and who conserve. Those who operate far outnumber. And these things are really occurrence. And I have a collection of 22,000 fractures, which is screwed up by surgery. Humerus is an adamant bone, hates metal. Few daring surgeons enter the room and come out unscathed. On the contrary, these sort of immobilizations cause non-union, malunion, and trouble. So the right method is an extension cast. Flexion displaces, extension straightens. About this, Dr. Divakar has spoken in detail yesterday. So I'll skip these slides. Just examples. And this is a very short video. Young girl, medical student. No, she was a young doctor actually. And immediately after extension, she was advised surgery by everybody. Her mom is a doctor. Mumbai. I said, no, I'll do it online. And she could not get somebody to plaster her. So a physiotherapist put a plaster. There she starts, she didn't want a scar, she didn't want metal. She's now in US, a psychiatrist. And she united in as little as 4.5 weeks. That's at about 3 weeks. And there we asked, I again by remote control asked somebody in Mumbai. That time I had not gotten close to Prasham. So I sent it to somebody else. And I asked them to put a short arm cast and asked her to mobilize. And that's after that, after about 4 weeks, we put her on a Samento brace. That's her. In 8 weeks, full shoulder, full elbow movements. And all this was done on, I've not even seen her physically. And that's her from a gym at about 2 months. So these are some examples. Flexion displaces, extension unites. This paper has been published in a very famous journal called Acta Orthopedica Belgia. This works also for forearms. Young child, practical and displaced fracture. Moment they force into a flexion cast and put a sling, you can see the ulna is angulated. Straighten it, straightens up. So from angulation to straightening, you need to just change flexion to extension. These are examples. You can see the plaster has been just removed and the child has full range of movements. The plaster, this thing is still visible on his hand and arm, and he's got full movements. So this is wrong and that is right. Take home message 6. Always not treat forearm and humerus fractures in extension cast. There, the sling has only one place. Logically, there's a dustbin. Orthopedic surgery does not need sling at all, ever. Then released from the prison, I studied law. I fought and won all my cases. Innovations don't stop. Mind continues to churn ideas. So after that, I was friendly with Divakar, I was friendly with Mukherjee, became friendly with Prasham. We developed pain portal blocks. I learned ozone, hydrogen, EVU. Now I am into a new thing called whole body cryotherapy, where we put a man in a chamber at minus 170 degrees, and that causes age regression and age reversal. So I tried it on myself. I think we should be trying it soon. So these are all the new things. One video of each procedure is shown. I don't think I need to waste our time. I did a good talk on molecular therapeutics, and Prasham has covered most of the things in ozone, and Divakar has covered most of the things in non-operative. Other young boys who spoke about IOS methods have covered them. This one thing can be shown. That's a lady from South America with spondylolisthesis as the spine surgeon next. The spine surgeons can have a look at it anyway, and very severe sciatica. She was not able to walk. This is a patient of Dr. Sexto from Uruguay. And then that's a pre-procedure SLR. She was practically bedridden. She came in a wheelchair and the son and daughter-in-law helped her, hoisted her to the clinic. And that's her immediately after the injection. Then she says she's feeling better. She was advised surgery by 4 spine surgeons. Just blocks. This gentleman was one of the first persons who did our course, which me and Divakar conducted online during COVID time. And in 15 minutes, you can see her speed and see the smile on her face, how she is doing everything normally. And much to her surprise, she even started dancing. There she is. No surgery, she was gone. This is some periarthritis shoulder. These are some more examples. This is EBO, which is extracorporeal blood oxygen ozonization. So here blood goes from one side and is ozonated. You can see the color difference and it goes back into the body. It becomes cherry red. I myself take this, and I think we should be doing one on Prasham tomorrow, day after tomorrow. There are molecular hydrogen drips where you mix nutraceuticals, vitamin B complex, vitamin C and everything, and then bubble molecular hydrogen. So I take one ozone and one hydrogen every week, and that keeps me young. And at 68, I walk 15 kilometers, and I'm sexually active. That's ozone orthodiastasis. EVN is very common. So we just mix hydrogen and ozone and inject into the hip joint, and their joint opens up. So that delays and postpones hip replacement surgery. Example, middle compartment arthritis from Bangalore. See the age, date, and you can see the extent of OA. She does not want HTO, she does not want middle compartment arthritis because her sister had an infected TKR. And that's it, after 6 months. Wheelchair bound, walking 1.5 kilometers to temple every day, and you can see the name and dates. So it is 2/4/24 and 4/11/24, both are standing knees. That is hydrozone, and that is the effect of EBO and MAST. Shocking mitochondria is not ECT, it's not cardiac shock. That's a cryo chamber. And next is my new health center where we are giving a hydrogen bath, a very powerful hydrogen generator, and that's a mini pool which is saturated with hydrogen, and the patient soaks himself in that pool. And I'm getting patients from all over the world who come for what do you call age regression and anti-aging treatment. Take home message 7, be aware of rogue mitochondria and the detrimental effects on human body at cellular and immunological level. Learn to reset mitochondria by less expensive method than whole body cryo. Take home message 8, we are coming to the end of our talk. Knowledge is a continuous process, and we keep learning until our death. Unless you unlearn to innovate and relearn, the brain does not accept new ideas. Teaching and sharing knowledge is the best form of learning. Teach and you improve all your life. That's me that time and now. Teaching joint replacement. These are various pictures of various workshops I had conducted over the period of time. Thank you all very much. I want to finish it a minute before time, so I have eventually finished. Thank you.
Thank you, Giant L. Prakash, all the innovations, and you have rightly said the craziness, but you have shown us the way and put us through the insight how you have to be vigilant, and maybe you are able to discover. Thank you.
Let's all give a standing ovation to our orator.